If this Father of the Bride film does not have Martin Short being an eccentric wedding planner, then I'm not listening. Father of the Bride. This version released in 2022 and is directed by Gaz Alazraqui, who has also directed the film Mentada de Padre. And this film is starring Andy Garcia, Gloria Estefan, Adria Arjona, Isabella Merced, Diego Boneta, and Chloe Finneman. And the reason why we're talking about this version of Father of the Bride today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from a longtime contributor and supporter of my channel, one of my favorite subscribers of all time, Dr. Camp. Here you are again. I want to know how you come to pick the recommendations that you send over to me, because they are so random. You give me films that are like the greatest films ever made, and then you give me random stuff I haven't even heard of. I didn't even know there was a remake of the 1991 Father of the Bride film that I absolutely love, which was also a remake of a 1950s Father of the Bride film. I get that, I understand. I just want to know your process of the films that you send over to me. If you could let me know, I'm really interested. But if anyone else out there also wants to be like Dr. Camp and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation to me, and if you have a movie recommendation, you can attach it with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out, just like what I did with Dr. Camp. Billy Herrera has come to this country from nothing and has become a lead architect in the Miami, Florida area. However, in his later years, he and his wife have fallen out of love with each other and want a divorce. And just before they make the announcement at a family dinner, Billy's oldest daughter makes the announcement that she has fallen in love and is engaged to be married. Now, Billy takes it upon himself to put all of the stress on planning the wedding on his shoulders, but is constantly getting pushback from his family, from his daughter, and her fiance's parents, who apparently make more money than him. So Billy becomes enraged, he becomes jealous because everyone else is happy around him, while this person's world is crumbling and falling apart all around him, and so he gets angry, he has moments where he lashes out at everyone, and then things get awkward, but it all works out in the end, because it's your daughter's wedding. And even when things go wrong on the wedding day, it doesn't matter, because this thing gets so cliche and so gumdrop sweet at the end that you just don't care. Now, watching this film was a struggle for me, because I'm a huge sucker for the 1991 version of this story with Steve Martin and Martin Short, who plays the wedding planner. Martin Short's performance in that version of Father of the Bride is one of my favorite performances of all time. He is so over the top. Just how he's walking around. I'm Franz. Oh, so unfair. I thought you were wearing a black tuxedo. And how he and Steve Martin just play off of each other. Steve Martin being the straight man, Martin Short being the pratfall wedding planner. It's one of my favorite romantic comedies. I don't even think it's a romantic comedy, just family comedies, I guess, of all time. So I'm watching this movie and I'm wanting those performances to be in here, and I keep telling myself, no, this is a different version, Caleb. Keep your mind open. Stay open to this. Caleb, stay open to this. Why aren't you staying open to this? And it just gets to a point where I turn my brain off and I turn off from this movie because it's not the 1991 version. And I know that's a shitty way to go into watching films, but I'm a human and I can't help myself because this film just became very cliche in the end, and I really didn't end up caring about any of these characters. The story also becomes convoluted with a lot of subplots and a lot of side characters that have side missions that don't really get resolved in the end. So Billy has a younger daughter who wants to be an entrepreneur. She wants to have her own business where she makes dresses and she's a seamstress of her own. And the relationship between her and her father was just totally blank. It was totally absent throughout this entire thing. Up until the end where Billy just comes out of nowhere and says, hey, you have my support. And she's like, okay. There's no moment of Billy trying to reconcile the relationship between himself and his younger daughter at all. Throughout the entire movie. It pissed me off. Yes, he's trying to reconcile all the shit that he's stirred with his older daughter who's getting married and her fiance's family. I get that, but you also have a younger daughter who also needs your attention and also needs your support. I'm realizing as I'm talking about it that it's actually affecting me because I'm the middle child in my family and I didn't get a lot of support from my parents. My mom's favorite was my older brother, my dad's favorite was my younger brother, it was a long time ago, and I was the middle child. I had the dog. And it also pissed me off to see just how willing this father was to support his daughter getting into a rushed wedding and who's going to be flying off to Mexico to live her life down there. It just brought me back to my own personal experience of my wedding and how my wife and I had no support from either of our families. Her family were very supportive in that, yes, get married. This boy is really nice. My family was, no, we're not going to support you in getting married. And no, we don't want you to get married because you're just still a little boy. So to see Billy, who's like, oh, I'm going to be paying for everything. I have tens of thousands of dollars that I'm just going to shell out to this family. And then the fiance's parents are like, yes, we have millions of dollars that we're going to throw out on this wedding. We're going to support both of you as much as we can. It pissed me the fuck off because I'm jealous. I'm envious of the support that these two motherfuckers had from their family, when in my real life, I had no support. We had no support from our parents to getting married, and it was fucking frustrating. The wedding turned out awesome, though. We had a ton of people there. But anyway, back to the movie. I'm talking about my own life. I'm not talking about this movie. I do appreciate some of the changes that they were trying to make, and it made me chuckle a little bit, because I remember the 1991 version, and Steve Martin's character is strapped for cash. He's well off, but he doesn't have a ton of money, and the daughter wants this big extravagant wedding, like this big classical wedding. In here, the story is completely flipped, where the engaged couple, they want a small wedding. They want a small, condensed, personal wedding, probably in the backyard, or some bingo hall somewhere. And it's the parents who are like, no, I need to invite all of my friends, and all of their friends, and all of their family, because we're a community, and we're going to have thousands of people there. I do like the flip-flop. It's kind of fun. But again, it just brings me back to the envious, jealous side that I have in my own personal life. Andy Garcia always works for me as an angry person. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. Andy Garcia, you're great at playing an angry person, just someone with a lot of problems. But in the end, when things turn around and he gets all mushy-gushy and he's on the phone saying like, oh, yo, you wanted a small wedding. Isn't that what you wanted? Yeah. For him to turn into such a big, cuddly teddy bear was weird for me, because I know him from The Untouchables, I know him from The Godfather Part 3, I know him from Ocean's 11. He's always the villainous, angry, evil person, so to see him turn into this mushy-gushy, cliche, romantic comedy person at the end didn't work for me, because I just don't get those vibes from him. As you can tell, my review of this movie is a lot of my own personal opinions, which I guess is anyone's movie review, I guess, whenever they talk about it, after they watch it. So, you know what? I'm not going to explain myself. I don't have to. It's my review, and this is how I feel while watching it. I feel that it's an okay adaptation. I don't think it's anything I'm going to be remembering in the next couple of months. I'm probably going to forget it altogether. And it just made me urge to have Martin Short and Steve Martin back on the screen again, because that's such an iconic film for me, and a better film in my opinion. So I'm going to give Father of the Bride from 2022 2.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I found that if you have a goal, that you might not reach it. But if you don't have one, then you are never disappointed. And I gotta tell you, it feels phenomenal.
So guys, have you seen Father of the Bride? What did you think about it? If you've seen all of the Father of the Bride films, which version do you prefer? Whatever you thought, comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you all the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.